Welcome to this month's edition of What's New in Google Apps. My name is Barry Schmel. I'm a technical trainer and course developer at Google, and my primary focus is Google Apps. I'd also like to acknowledge Stephen Long, who is my team member based in Dublin, Ireland, who also contributed to today's presentation. I'm very excited about this month's edition of What's New in Google Apps because we've been delivering this live webinar format for the past 4.5 years. And we finally felt it's time for a change, and we switched to a recorded format so our customers and partners can watch and learn about the new features in Google Apps anytime and from anywhere. Since we'll be hosted on our YouTube channel, please feel free to put your comments and questions in the comment section below. This show is for you, so we want to hear about what you have to say and what you think. We'll also synchronize the timing of today's presentation with the monthly Google Apps newsletter. So the recording will usually be available the second week in the month. If you haven't seen the newsletter this month, follow the link below. That also means that this presentation will recap the features that were announced in August, as well as posted on the Google Apps release calendar for August. You can use the release calendar to see what new features are being released and when. Once again, follow the link below. Oh, and by the way, my slides will be available in the link below. That way you can get more information, as well as click on the links to the update announcements and help articles that I'll mention in my presentation. One thing for sure at Google, things do change and always get better. This is just one more example. So let's look at today's agenda. We'll start with our headline news, then continue with Drive updates, Gmail updates, Google Hangouts, Google Classroom, and how you can stay informed even between these editions. And finally, our Partner Corner, where we'll share topics that are specific to our Google Apps partner community. Now for the headline news. As of September 2nd, 2014, what was called Google Enterprise is now simply Google for Work. Work is where we spend a lot of our time, so we've always believed that it should be meaningful, not just the daily grind. Even more, we believe that technology should make it easier to get things done, no matter where you work or what your job is. Work today is very different from 10 years ago. Cloud computing, once a new idea, is abundantly available, and collaboration is possible across offices, cities, countries, and continents, and even across devices. Millions of companies, large and small, have turned to Google to help them launch, build, and transform their businesses and help their employees work the way they live. Google never set out to create a traditional enterprise business. We wanted to create a new way of doing work. So the time has come for our name, Google Enterprise, to catch up with our ambition, Google for Work. But don't worry, even though our name is changing, the product experience remains the same, as does our commitment to bringing you the best tools to run your business. You're watching in to learn about new features in Google Apps for Business. Well, this product name has also changed to Google Apps for Work. So let's look at all the new features and updates that have been made to Google Apps in the past month so we can continue to help you work better and make it easier for you to get things done. So let's start with the Google Drive updates. So back in July, we announced a new version of Google Drive Viewer, which is a lot faster and cleaner and provides easier way to connect with third-party Drive apps. It also brings a unified viewing experience between Drive content and Gmail attachments. I do want to point out that with this change, we're removing support for adding file-level comments on non-Google file formats. For example, if you uploaded a PDF file, you will no longer be able to put comments on that PDF file. The change doesn't impact comments in Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, or your existing non-Google formats. I also want to remind you again that in the presentation there are links to the actual update announcements and Help Center articles. We also announced in August that your iPhone and iPad get new apps for Docs, Sheets, and Slides. So I'm really excited because we have a new Slides app available for iPhone and iPad, and there's also updates to Docs and Sheets as well. So what this means, you can really get stuff done now from any device, whether it's an iPhone, an iPad, an Android tablets, your laptop, or even your desktop computers. And also with Doc Sheets and Slides, they come automatically with offline editing capabilities built in. So you get a great experience with these new applications on iPhones and apps. This is one of my favorite updates this month, custom themes in Google Forms. I know a lot of us use forms so that we can communicate and gather information from our customers and other folks. And now in August, we announced that you have the ability to create your own customized forms. Let me give you a quick demo of that. So now I'm in Google Drive, and I'm going to click on my form. I've created a feedback form, and what I want to do is change the theme. And you'll notice on the right-hand side of the screen, there are various themes that are pre-created or provided by Google. And I want you to see that I'm able to select one of those themes and click on Customize. Notice I can change the header image. Notice I can, if I want to just change the fit and location of that image, I can actually select a different image if I wish. I can also upload one from my desktop. I can fit it back to the width of the entire form, and I can change various elements of the form. So this has been a big request from all of our customers, and I'm very excited about this new update. We've also seen changes in Google Sheets. Chart trend lines are now available in Google Sheets as well. And I'm going to demo this for you as well. I think this is a very exciting feature. So I'm going to go back to my Drive. And this time I'm going to bring up one of my spreadsheets. So this spreadsheet, if you'll notice, is pretty much a very simple chart of travel distance in meters over time. And with the new trend line, you have the ability to go to the advanced edit settings. And if we scroll to the bottom, you'll see there's a section called Trend Line. The default is there is no trend line. And what I can do is I can select a linear trend line. And you'll notice if you look at my preview of my chart in my chart editor, you'll notice that we have a new line that shows the trend. And now I can edit that. I can create a custom label. I can also change the color of the trend line. So I'm going to change that to red so it becomes a little bit more clear and evident that is actually a trend line. Another feature now available in Google Sheets is you can now copy and paste charts within Google Sheets. So once again, if we go to the Advanced Edit menu, you'll see the option to copy the chart. What's interesting here is you can copy this chart to any other location within the same sheet. So for example, maybe you want to create a new tab or a new sheet that has this chart. But in which case, if you update any of the data within the spreadsheet, it'll automatically appear in that chart that you've copied. If you copy it between spreadsheets, however, the data will become static, and if you make any changes in the original data, it will not be reflected in the chart. You can also sort and use filter views in Google Sheets without edit access. So this allows users with view-only access to be able to sort and use filter views in Google Sheets. I'm going to go ahead and demo this to you. So I'm assuming most of us are familiar with the concept of a filter view, which means that you have the ability to sort a document or sort a spreadsheet and make that available to your users. The problem with that is when you create a filter, it affects all your users that are looking at that document. With filter views, you have the ability to create other views that actually change the range of the data and resort the data without actually impacting the original data itself. So this is a great feature that's available, filtered views in Sheets. The other thing that we've updated with filtered views is that you can now easily update the range of the data that your users are viewing. So you'll notice in this document, I have this particular view is all of those rows and columns. I can now limit that, for example, to D2. And anybody that has this current view will be limited to those data rows and columns. Previously, you had to actually delete the filter view and create a new one and make it available to your users. Oh, this is another one of my favorites, and I'm going to share with you a little story with this. But table cell border styling is now available in Google Docs. So, for example, if you are creating a Google Doc and you insert a table, you're now able to customize the border and the colors and the background for that particular table. So I'm going to go into Google Drive and actually demo this feature. So I'm opening up my document, and I'm going to go ahead and insert a table. Notice you can select how many rows and columns. I'm going to make that a 2 by 2. And what we can do now in Google Docs with this table is notice we can change the background color of one and another. You can make this very colorful. You can also select several cells, and we can change the colors on those as well. I can also select the entire table, and I can change the border color and the type of border. So for example, let's make this very colorful. I'll make this a royal blue, and we can also change the thickness, and we can also change the type of border this is. Maybe we'll change that to dashes. So that's a new feature that's available in Google Docs. Now what I would like to share with you is another way of using this feature, which I find very helpful, because one of the things you cannot do in Docs is create a 2-column document. But now with this feature, you can easily do that. So for example, let me just go ahead and I'm going to insert a new table. And I'm going to make this 2 columns wide. So I'm going to call this column 1, and then there's information I'm typing. And then I also have column 2, and there's information that I'm typing. And notice what I can do now. Can anyone guess? I'm going to actually remove the border. And now I have a document that has 2 columns using these new features with tables. And once again, I want to remind everyone that with each of the slides, we have references to the actual update announcement that you can click on, and also very interesting help articles. So when you get a chance, remember to look at the presentation that we've provided in the comments below, and you'll be able to look at the slide decks. Oh, this is another one of my favorite updates this past month, that you can quickly find and insert special characters in Google Docs, slides, and drawings. So let me show you how this works. And then I'm assuming that sometimes we want to put in a special symbol or special character, which you can easily now do by insert and special characters. And if you happen to know what the symbol is, which is really great, you can just type in the name. But for example, I'm too lazy to look for the pi character, so I can just draw it, and then what Google Docs will do, it will suggest. So for example, it's suggesting different character symbols. This one is for the letter pi, and also different characters that might be available in different languages. So I can now insert that character there. I did that a few times. Let me move down here so it's a little bit more visible. And let's look for the smiley face. Let me draw one, and let's see what Google Docs thinks I'm doing. Some interesting characters that I didn't even know existed before. And here is the white smiling face. So it's very easy now to insert special symbols and characters in your docs, as well as slides and drawings. We've also improved publishing interface for Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. In addition to being able to share documents, sheets, and slides with other folks, you're also able to publish it, which means you can provide a URL that they can insert into other locations, into other websites, and view those document sheets and slides. The nice thing is that it actually makes a copy of that for them. So for example, folks that you're sharing the document with, they're able to edit the document, whereas the folks that have the published link, they're only able to view that information. We'll see that you can also change that behavior as well. I want to go ahead and demo this. So I'm going to go back to Drive, and I'm going to go back to the document that I created earlier with the beautiful special characters. And I want you to see that I am actually able to publish this document to the web. And what happens is I will be provided a URL that I'm able to share with all those users. Generally, when you publish something to the web, you want to freeze the content, which means even though you might be making changes to that document, users will not be able to see that. But notice there's also an option to automatically republish when changes are made. Usually, you have to republish the document so that when people look at that link again, they'll get the updates, or you could set it to be automatically republished when you make changes. So that's the behavior with docs. When you publish with Sheets, I want you to see that you have the option to actually publish just one sheet, or actually in this case, I can elect to publish just the chart or the entire document. So if I added any additional sheets, they will be published to the users as well. And once again, you have the ability to automatically republish this sheet or spreadsheet when you make any changes to it. I also want to show you the behavior of publishing slides. Because with slides, not only can you publish them, and here's a copy of my current deck. With slides, you have some other options. For example, you can control how quickly it'll automatically advance from one slide to the next. The default is 3 seconds. I can make that slower or faster. I can also have the slideshow start immediately when the player loads up, basically when they click on the URL. And you can also have it restart the slideshow over and over again to have an automatic replay. With slides, it's also very common that you want to embed maybe the slide deck into a web page, in which case you can also preset the size of that view. So those are the updates we have with publishing documents, slides, as well as spreadsheets. And if you want to find out more information, once again, you're able to click on the update announcements as well as the Help Center articles. So this next one is for those of you that are using Google Apps Unlimited. You can view events in Google Drive audit logs. So this is a feature that's available in the admin console under the reporting control if you have purchased Google Apps Unlimited. So you'll actually have several events that you're able to filter for or search for. The one that we've recently added is the ability to view. Once again, I just want to mention that you'll only be able to see the Drive option under Audits in your Reports tab section if you have Google Apps Unlimited. And then finally, with all of these exciting new features that we have in Google Drive, I'm assuming that many of you are wondering, well, how can you move your files to Google Drive and take advantage of all these great features? Well, for those of you that just have a couple of files or various folders, it's quite easy because you can upload them directly to Drive, or you can use Drive Sync. But if you have a large number of users that you want to migrate all their folder structures over to Google Drive, or you have file storage repositories, you may want to consider some of these migration tools that are provided by some of our software partners, such as Cloud Migrator, CloudSphere, Migrator for Google Apps, Mover, Navacertus, and SkySync. There's also other options available in the Google Apps Marketplace as well. Next, we're going to look at the Gmail updates. Oh, and speaking of migration, there's the new Google Apps data migration service. So you can now do cloud-based migrations of your email to Google Apps. So you'll notice in your admin console, there's the new migration control or icon. And I'll demo this in a moment, but it will actually walk you through the steps of connecting to the email server and also selecting which email messages or how much data you want to migrate for your users. You'll be able to select the users as well and start the migration all within your admin console. This also means that you're able to monitor the progress of your migration through the admin console anytime, anywhere that you wish. I'm going to do a quick demo of this. So what we're looking at right now is a user that I recently created called Tony. I've logged in as the user Tony. And you'll notice, like all new users in Google Apps, he has those 3 welcoming messages from the Gmail team. I've also migrated all of his previous mail as well using the Google Apps data migration service. But I wanted you to see the end user experience here, that they have all of their data, at least for the time frame that I selected for the email data migration. You'll also notice that they have their folder structure here as well, or labels that are available to them. Let me show you the admin console component. So you'll notice in your admin console, you should have the migrations icon available. If I click on that, it actually allows me to set up my email migration. Now, I do want to mention that currently the Google Apps Data Migration Service can only migrate email messages. We are currently working on the development for calendar and contacts as well, but currently it only does email message migration. And basically you're going to fill in a couple of screens. Where are you migrating from? So you'll notice that we list all the various mail servers that we support. You'll also notice there's IMAP. The data that I'm migrating actually came from another Google Apps account. You'll notice that the protocol, it will automatically select that for me, though if I wanted to, I could select either of those. And then also the credentials to access that email server. So I'm going to enter the name of the user. As well as the password. And then I can click connect. It's not migrating the data yet, it's just testing whether it can connect to that mail server. And this is where I can specify the time frame. I can say all the mail and also a custom date, or I could say just the past month. I can also include certain folders like the deleted email folder, the junk email, also exclusion folders. And then I can go ahead and select which users. The list of users that appear are the ones that I've created in my Google Apps account. So you must create the users first in Google Apps before you're able to migrate the data. And for example, for Tony, which is the user I'm migrating right now, I would just enter his IMAP email address, which is a fancy way of saying the email address in the other system. And then also the password. So you do have to enter the passwords for the individual users. And I could also select other users as well. If I want, I could select all the users. And when I'm ready to start the migration, I just click Start Migration for selected users. So it's very simple, it's very powerful. Currently, it's only limited to email data migration, not calendar events and not contacts. There's some other options available once you start the migration. So we can look at the settings here. I can adjust the migration speed. I can also have a migration report sent to me. I can also exit the migration if I want to stop it. The one thing that you're limited to doing is while a migration is in progress, you're not able to make any changes as to which users you're migrating. The only way to do that is actually to exit or stop the migration and start it again. I do want to point out that this is available for Google Apps for Work and Google Apps for Education. And as with all the other slides, the update announcements and the Help Center articles are available for you as well. Here's another new feature in Gmail that you can get the most out of Gmail with the new Setup gadget. So when you add a new user to Google Apps, they actually are presented with the Setup gadget, which I'll demo in a moment, that actually helps them get through some of the initial setup of their Gmail account, such as creating a signature, learning more about Gmail features, and also creating a profile image. Once the user has stepped through all of these different settings, they are rewarded with a badge that says they have completed 100% of their setup. Okay. So let me go ahead and do a quick demo of this. So I'm going to go back to Tony. Remember Tony, he's the user I just created, and we just migrated some of his data using the data migration service. And if I scroll to the bottom, wasn't that a little sneaky of me, you'll notice that he has the Setup gadget. So users will have that automatically. What I can do is then I can click on Set a Signature, and it will load the settings page and walk me through that process. So I'm able here to create a signature and any other information I want to provide, and then I can save my changes. And once I've created that signature, you'll notice that it automatically checks that, and now I'm 35% done, getting closer to my 100% badge. I can't wait till I get that. And then you can also learn more how to use Gmail and also change the profile image. Users also can just dismiss that by clicking the X, in which case it's now gone. Some users like it, some users may not want it. They can always go back to settings and click on Gmail setup, and they'll be presented with the setup gadget once again. So this feature is available for rapid release customers, and scheduled release is coming soon for customers as well. Last month, we also announced support for third-party internationalized email addresses in Gmail. So Gmail right now, and shortly in Calendar, users are able to now send to and receive from email addresses that contain accented or non-Latin characters. This can be either in the domain name, which is to the right of the @ sign, or the local part or the username to the left of the @ sign. The one thing that users cannot do right now will be able to create a new user account in Gmail or Google Apps using the accented and non-Latin characters. So I do want to provide a little bit of background on this. This information is available in the update announcement and also the Gmail blog, because I found it very interesting that back in 2012, the organization Internet Engineering Task Force, they created a new email standard that supports addresses with non-Latin characters and accented Latin characters. And what I found very interesting is, I didn't know this until I read the article, but did you know that less than half of the world's population has a mother tongue that uses the Latin alphabet? And even fewer people only use the letters A through Z. So a lot of folks are excluded from email. So this standard is trying to internationalize and make these characters more available through email. And the biggest challenge is getting email providers to support these characters. So the technology is there, but someone has to step up and take the first step. And I'm very excited to say that Google is one of the first providers to support these special characters. So once again, I just want to point out that even though you can send and receive mail with addresses containing these characters, when you create a new user in Google Apps or with Gmail, only the non-accented Latin characters will be supported. We also announced the new version of Gmail for iOS. So what's really great about this is that there's going to be more of a consistent experiences using the Gmail application or the Gmail app across different devices, including iOS. Some of the new features that are available is you can save attachments directly to Google Drive from your Gmail, so you no longer have to save that attachment to the local device, taking up space or bandwidth. You can save it directly to Google Drive. You can also insert Google Drive files directly into messages as well. So those are some of the new features available in the Gmail for iOS app. So let's look at Hangout updates. So as far back as July, we've seen many improvements in Google Hangouts, making it easier for you to get your work done with other people. One of those we saw was Hangout video calls for all. And what that basically means is that you have the ability to create and join Hangout video calls for up to 15 participants. And for many of our customers, even more important is you no longer need to ensure Google Plus Premium services are enabled, nor have Google Plus Profile to use Hangouts on video. So those are some exciting things happening in Hangouts. I do want to mention, however, that using apps and video calls and sharing photos and using circles to control who can reach you and how do require Google Plus Profile. Once again, this is available for our rapid release and scheduled release customers, and you can get more information in the slide deck from the update announcements and help articles. We also heard the end of July enhanced reliability and support for Hangouts, and Hangouts are now covered under the same terms of service agreement for support as our other core Google Apps for work products, just like Gmail and Drive, for example. So this means that you get back, that we'll get back to you from our support organization, 24/7 phone support, and also 99.9% guaranteed uptime, just like our other core services. Another update that we announced late July was the ability for you to eject guests from a Hangout video call. Sometimes you have a Hangout going on and you would like to dismiss someone from that Hangout. So you now have that capability. If you look at the screenshot here, you'll notice that there was a session. You're able to select one of the users and eject them. And I received a notification that I was actually removed from the video call. Now, the good thing is that only folks that are actually in the domain of the person that created the Hangout is able to eject other folks from the actual Hangout. You can also rejoin a Hangout that you're ejected from with the initial invite link. External participants must be explicitly re-invited if you eject them from a Hangout. Once again, there's more information available for you through the update announcements and also through the Help Center articles referenced here. We also announced the new available Contacts tab for Hangouts in Gmail. If you look at the screenshot here, you'll notice that when I look at my list here, we have the icon that represents the contacts. They're now available in your Hangouts in Gmail. What happens is when you click on the contacts icon, it will sort this based upon those users that are available in your contact list first, noted by the green circle or the green dot, and then below that is sorted unavailable contacts. You also have the ability to select one of your contacts from the list. You can pin them to the top. You can start a video call with them. You can send them email. You can also hide that user from the list as well. Once again, there's additional information available through the update announcements and also the Help Center article. Google Classroom helps teachers create and collect assignments paperlessly, provide feedback efficiently, and easily communicate with their class. Teachers can quickly see who has and has not completed their work and provide direct, real-time feedback and grades right in the classroom. Students can keep track of what's due on assignments and begin working with just a click. You can get additional information about Google Classroom by looking at the update announcements and also the blog post. We also want you to continue to stay informed between our monthly presentation and newsletters. So here's some ways that you can do that. A good start is the What's New in Google Apps release calendar. This will show you what new features are available as rapid release as well as scheduled release. The rapid release are noted in red, and the scheduled release for your end user features are noted in green. Also admin console updates and other resources that we make available every month. You can also subscribe to the monthly newsletter and find out what's new in Google Apps for Work. We also have the archive newsletters available as well. And then there's also the webinar archive from our What's New in Google Apps webinar series that are available, including our past presentations. And then finally, you can stay up to date just like I do by subscribing to the Google Apps updates and receive notifications immediately through email when a new update about a new feature is available. This ends the major portion of this month's edition of What's New in Google Apps. Thank you for watching today. And I sincerely hope that Google makes it easier for you to work the way you live. But if you're a Google Apps partner, stay a few more minutes. I have some things that I want to share with you that are only specific to our Google Apps partners. Now, as you would expect with the latest announcement of Google for Work, we've begun renaming our enterprise resources, including Google Enterprise Connect or GEC, with Google for Work. So we've renamed GEC Google for Work Connect. If you go to the old URL, you'll be automatically redirected to the new URL, connect.googleforwork.com. And I also just want to remind everyone you can stay informed with the news from Google page. Remember to click on the follow button so that you can be notified immediately of any official news about Google Apps for our partners. And of course, the latest news is all about Google for Work. And lastly, I just want to mention that the Google Apps Learning Paths and Partner University, we've renamed several of the classes and course descriptions to reflect the new product changes, such as Google Apps for Work. And we also published the training schedule through the end of 2014. So if any of you are interested in any of the upcoming training courses, check out Partner University. Once again, I want to thank everyone for watching today, and I sincerely hope that Google makes it easier for you to work the way you aspire to live. Thank you.